Does Rick have any memories in making the studio tracks which ended up on Keys to Ascension 2? In particular, the song Mind Drive. There's some absolutely fantastic music on that release. It should have been released as a proper studio album, in my opinion, says Killian. Over to you, Mr. Rick.
It's a very interesting period, the Keys to Ascension period. Basically, I got a phone call to go over to Los Angeles because the management, of which there were numerous managers at the time. Oh, yeah. People talk about, yes, having many different members. They also had many different managers. You never knew quite who was managing what part of who and where and when. So I flew to Los Angeles and I was told that the band that was being put together was John, Chris, Alan, myself, and Trevor Rabin.
Okay.
And I thought, that's interesting, because that lineup's not been seen or heard before. That could be interesting to do. Love playing with Steve, and we've done all the other albums I've done with Steve, so this will be interesting. Mm-hmm. So I arrive in this hotel. I'm told the meeting's in this room. So I go into this room, and there is a management team who I'm introduced to, who I've never met before. I didn't even know they were about. Steve was there. Trevor wasn't. So basically, they put together the old, what was lovingly known for years as the classic lineup. They put that back together. So I thought, okay, that's fine. I mean, I enjoy playing with all of it, whatever. And they said, well, how do you feel about it? I said, well, the one thing I have got to mention, which is really important, is that I am doing a tour later in '89, which of an oratorio that I wrote with an operatic tenor, and I said I'm touring that in America around the Calvary chapels, and I said that's something important, because I have actually locked in all the participants, so as long as nothing interferes with that in '89, that's fine.
Right.
And they all said, well, that's fine. And this management company, who I'd never met, went, yeah, that won't be a problem. I said, well, what's the plan? Where are we recording? They said, well, we want to record remotely, but all together in a disused bank in San Luis Obispo, where I live. Oh, that's all right. Nothing, in for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah.
So we all arrived a few months later at San Luis Obispo, which is an interesting town. It has a high street, and that's it, really. And one hotel that, to put it politely, sort of made Premier Inn look like the Savoy. It was strange, but that's fine. I'm always up for an adventure.
Yes, you are.
And we were in this old bank that had closed down. We set everything up, and we started recording and writing and putting stuff together. And it was good. The particular track that you mentioned, Mind Drive, was very much. I think some of Chris's great bass playing on that was really, really good. But it was a bit of a mismatch of an album in as much as that everybody had other things to do. So I used to fly back to the Isle of Man, which is not easy from San Luis Obispo. You took what you lovingly know as a hedge hopper.
A hedge hopper?
Yeah, because they go so low that they hop over the hedges, and down to Los Angeles, then go to LAX, and then LAX to Heathrow, and then Heathrow to the Isle of Man. By the time I got home, it was time to come back again. It was preposterous, really, but it was fine. And we did the album, and then we did a live show at an old theatre in San Luis Obispo, which was great fun.
Right.
I must admit, where we played some of the old classics, plus we played some of the stuff from Keys to Ascension. The difficulty with Keys to Ascension, there were 2 or 3 different labels that were interested in taking it, which they did. In fact, it's coming out again now. It's being re-released. But then there was a live recording, I think, of the show in San Luis Obispo, which became Keys to Ascension 2, along with other bits that were left over from Keys to Ascension 1. which were actually pretty good. They were okay. Then it was decided, well, we need to go out, the lineup, the old classic lineup, go out and tour again.
Right.
And I went, yeah, but I can't go at the moment because I've got my oratorio tour.
Yeah. Which you had mentioned.
I had mentioned it to Auditor, and the management said, well, you'll have to cancel that.
Oh,
and I said, no. I said, no, that's not how it works. My word says that this is what I'm doing, and I'm telling other people, and I've booked other people to do it. You know, I have to honour my word. Oh, I'll just cancel it.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I won't.
Yeah.
So what they did, they went ahead and booked a tour.
Right.
And they said to me, right, this is where you'll be. And I said, no, you don't get it, do you? I have had this oratorio tour booked for an awful long time, and I'm not letting people down that I promised that I will do it. That was it, really. They never spoke to me again.
Gosh.
So that was really the story of Keys to Ascension 1 and 2.
Goodness me. The trials and tribulations that you went through as a musician. Unbelievable, isn't it? And it wasn't about the music, was it? It was all about the management.
Some of the decisions that managements have made over the years, I have to say I'm happy now with what way that it works. But back then, certainly in the late 80s, early 90s, it was just basically managements did what they wanted to do, not what the artists wanted to do.
Yeah.
They never listened, and they never did for a long time. They said, oh no, this is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. No. Can we discuss this, please? You know. There you go. It's the albums were fun and an interesting period in Yes's life. But who knows if management had listened, what it might have gone on to do.